So in deficit models of engagement, the assumption is that, a public or non-technical individual simply needs to be educated into understanding a technology to then feel comfortable with it or perhaps authorize its use. So in deficit model approaches, in engagement, it ends up being a very unidirectional communication. Like the people organizing the engagement have the expertise and they need to disseminate it in a way that the public can understand and then kind of come around to sort of a positive perspective on the technology. And so I see the marketing approaches to engagement as quite aligned with that, because that's looking more at strategic ways to present a technology or intervention. That's looking at, using market research methodology to say what will be more likely to bring people around to this or, kind of head off potential opposition. I mean, in some of the events I attended, it went as far as to kind of test out scripts for commercials, right? If you heard this on the radio, how would you react to this? Which was a more appealing message and why? And so I think it's really interesting because, in this case, I don't think it was necessarily that because these folks were working on GeneDrive, they decided to go this market route. Like, I think it's just a more embedded practice in that world, and it's one that's not really being interrogated or looked at critically or even just reflected upon. Like, oh, why do we do this as engagement versus other kinds of conversations that could open up other kinds of learning, right? Especially if you can see folks in the non-technical public as having their own important forms of expertise or input that they can share.